Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Physics of Speed, how accelerator breakthroughs are making cancer treatment almost instantaneous, and why that changes everything. I'm Lisa Seringer, Director of Investor Relations here at TibaRay, and joining us today are Dr. Sami Tantawi, our co-founder and Chief Technology Officer, and Thinh Tran, our Chief Executive Officer, and today's moderator.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks everyone for attending our webinar today. Radiation therapy is one of the most effective tools for treating cancer. But even the best treatments face a fundamental challenge. Patients breathe, organs move, and tumors shift during treatment. Now imagine delivering that treatment in a fraction of a second, fast enough to effectively freeze motion, while potentially reducing damage to healthy tissue and maintaining the effect of the tumor. Making that possible requires a remarkable conversion of accelerator physics, radio frequency engineering, medical physics, and cancer biology. Our guest today is Dr. Sami Tantawi, an emeritus professor of particle physics and astrophysics at Stanford University and at SLAC National Accelerator Laboratory, a former chief scientist of SLAC Accelerator Technology Research Division, and now a professor at Arizona State University. Over a distinguished career, he has pioneered advances in high-gradient accelerators, radio frequency system, and high-power microwave technology. He received Achievement in Accelerator Physics and Technology Award from U.S. Particle Accelerator School and is a fellow of the American Physical Society. Today, as a co-founder and chief technology officer of TibaRay, Sami is helping translate those decades of scientific innovation into a new generation of medical system, including Galactica linear accelerator platform. Sami, welcome. Let's begin with your personal journey. You have spent much of your career developing advanced accelerator. Tell us more about your background, how you became involved in cancer technology, and when you first realized that accelerator physics could fundamentally improve radiation therapy. Sami.
Yes, my history is I started my Ph.D. work at the University of Maryland, doing some work on synchrotron resonance masers and high-power microwave devices. And after I finished my Ph.D. in 1992, my advisor at that time spoke to people at Stanford and told them that I have a very brilliant student. You should have a look at him. And I went to visit and made an interview at the SLAC National Accelerator Laboratory at Stanford. And to my surprise, a few weeks later, I got an offer to work as a staff member over there. And that was really surprising to me. I was planning actually to go because I got an offer from Cairo University to become an assistant professor over there. So I just told Cairo University, can I delay my arrival by a year because I cannot waste the chance of working at the dream institution that everybody wants to work in around the world. If you're doing something in physics, the SLAC National Accelerator Laboratory at that time at Stanford was the place to go. And so I wanted to have that experience. So I went there, spent a year over there. And during that year, I got involved into the idea of making accelerators for future particle smashers or colliders, as we call them. It is the devices that really essence of trying to find the essence of matters. What are we made of? We're trying to go to the subatomic and subatomic particles at the very fundamental scale of time and resolution. That was an intriguing endeavor that was very exciting. And this year was one of the best years of scientific research in my life. I got exposed to all of those Nobel Prize winners and all these distinguished physicists and so on and so forth. It was so stimulating that it was very hard. But at the end, I signed up for only 1 year and I went and tried to go back to Cairo University. My boss at that time told me, oh, no, you're making a mistake here. don't leave us, but take a leave of absence and go to Cairo University, see whether you like it, and then maybe you can come back later. And I said, oh, sure, let me do that, of course. And I went to Cairo University, spent 1 year over there, and then I said, okay, maybe I should come back to Stanford again. And so I took a leave of absence from Cairo University and went back to Stanford, worked for a year, then took a leave of absence, went back to Cairo University. I kept going back and forth like that for close to 7 years. And then I got married, and my wife was pregnant with our first son. And she told me, well, we have to figure out a way that we cannot now keep going back and forth like this. And on the same day she had this conversation with me, I got a letter from Cairo University telling me that I exhausted all my leave of absence vacation and I cannot keep going like this. And on that same day, Stanford University sent me some letters and spoke to me directly saying that faculty members at Stanford do not share their faculty members with other institutions. And if I am going to be a faculty member at Stanford, I should never have another appointment with any other institution. So it was a message, and I discussed this with my wife, and we decided that we're going to stay here at Stanford and build our career on this prospect. Now I've got very much involved into this business of building these novel accelerators for particle smashers and these colliders and trying to figure, and it is an exciting work. It's extremely exciting to try to find what are made of, the fundamentals of the constituents of matter. What is it? How does it come about? And what's the rules that governs it in a very tiny details? It's a mysterious world that is full of intrigue and excitement if you want to really dive into this. And I was really tasked with building these tools that will allow for these discoveries to happen in the future. And by 2004, I have built a reasonable reputation around the world and at Stanford that I was asked by the Department of Energy to lead a new group of research, a consortium in the US called US High Gradient Collaboration for Future Colliders. It's to really understand the fundamental limits of how these accelerators work and why we can make them much better, and how we can make a breakthrough to allow for these things to reach higher and newest level that it can possibly make. And it's a very fundamental physics question, why we cannot make them much more powerful in a very fundamental way from the surface science of materials and understanding how they interact with electromagnetic waves and how these high fields interact with atoms on the surface and so on and so forth, to what limitations and what material engineering we can do and so on and so forth. So I got led this collaboration that involved Stanford, MIT, Yale, all the major institutions in the US that do scientific work, and institutions from around the world like CERN in Europe, and INFN in Frascati in Italy, Cockcroft Institute in the UK, and many other institutions, including KEK Institute in Japan, which is the prestigious High Energy Physics Institute in Japan, the institute in Japan that does high energy physics, and other places in Asia as well. So it was a multi-universal collaboration across the globe that I have actually accumulated a huge amount of air travel miles by that time, because I was everywhere, a new place, trying to coordinate these experiments that we are doing and the research and make the whole thing coherent. And I worked for this for a very long time, close to 1.5 decades, 15 years or so. And around 2010, we are just about to publish our results. And really, we had made several breakthroughs in this after many, many years of work around this problem with most brilliant people around the world. And I got a truly unexpected visit from Dr. Billy Liu from Stanford Medical School, who was telling me he had been looking for people that do accelerator physics all over the world. And he was told that in their backyard, there is the expert in this type of accelerators, and he might want to talk to me. And I said, sure, let's talk. What's in your mind? And he was, okay, I need an accelerator with these specifications. And if I had an accelerator like that, I can make a revolution in cancer treatment. And everybody told me it's impossible to build an accelerator like that. Is this really true? And to his surprise, I answered, no, it's not impossible. Our research made it possible to build accelerators with this high throughput that you are looking for. We can definitely, it's the state of the art now, and you have to make this state of the art and the physics really be applied and made true to make this happen. But we can work together. And actually, I have to say, this was very exciting for me because for the first time, I always thought that my research and my work and all the effort that we are doing, I will never see the fruit of this work in my lifetime. But here is somebody telling me that he wants to use all the work that I have dedicated years of my life, tens of years of my life to do, to see an immediate application that will impact society around us big time. So I said, yeah, sure, I would love to collaborate with you to do this. And we started an academic collaboration that lasted for many, many years. And during that time, we got grants from the US Department of Energy, from NIH, from DoD, and from many other institutions to really make this go closer to the real access and become a reality to see whether we can use these things as a medical devices. And we have made the first experiments at SLAC, and it was spectacular. We really realized that we have something fantastic in our hands. But academic institution goes as much as trying to push the state of the art into a real device, but it does not push it all the way to be a device that you can treat in hospitals and really make all the provisions to make that device used by doctors, all the software, everything that goes around it. And hence the idea that came up, we have to make a spin-off company that benefit from all my decades of research in doing this type of accelerator research, and with the medical school collaboration that applies this research into cancer treatment. And that's how TibaRay was born, to really make this research a reality for treating cancer. That's how I got involved into this and medical accelerators. I hope I was not too long in my answer about this question.
Fascinating story. Sami, for someone unfamiliar with radiation therapy, can you walk us through what the conventional medical linear accelerator does and why radiation delivery takes several minutes and what problem arise when patient, tumor, and surrounding organs continue moving during treatment?
So that's a question as a double-edged sword because it requires to answer it from the physics point of view of the accelerator and from the medical side of how the radiation we generate from the accelerators treat cancer. So I will answer it, but with a caveat that my information in the medical arena is coming from what rubbed on me from my collaboration with my medical colleagues. So you take that with a grain of salt, and I hope my medical colleagues can correct the information that I'm saying right now if any of it is not that accurate. But the idea is that we accelerate particles, electrons in particular, to extremely high energies. And these particles that gets accelerated into extremely high energies hits a specific target made out of specific set of materials, and it converts that energy into X-ray or gamma rays. It's extremely high energy photons. And these photons are the things that gets collimated and pushed through the body to do the treatment of cancer. These essentially are radiation that on its way through the body, it causes a little bit of damage everywhere. However, the way that medical doctors do the treatment is that they allow for these accelerators to go around the patient in so many different directions. So the radiation gets concentrated only at the spot that they want to treat. And the rest does not see much of a real dose or damage or anything like that, except for one single spot where they want to treat. And then this is where the damage happened to the cells in this point, and that's what kills the cancer cells at this point. So it's a way to really kill the cancer cells from the outside world without having to go through the operating table and cut the patient open and scoop out the cells that they want to take out. The problem is that you have to do this very carefully so that you deliver the dose only where you want to deliver it. So you minimize the harm to the healthy tissue that doesn't want to be harmed, and so that you minimize the side effect of this treatment to the rest of the body. And to do that, you have to mechanically move this accelerator slowly around the patient. And you have to verify this treatment that my colleagues, the medical physicist colleagues, do a lot of simulations to figure out how to sculpture that dose to go to the tumor itself without hurting critical uh, component in the body, like heart, spinal cord, or brain, or and so on and so forth. So they want to avoid all the critical organs and only deliver to where they want to deliver the treatment. So the process of moving this accelerator around the patient is slow by nature, and adjusting the patients inside the machine to really make sure that you are shooting correctly to where you want your bullets to hit, not anywhere else, is a process that takes time to really do. So the process takes few minutes every day, and you have to be careful about this process so that you don't harm, and you let the body recover a little bit from the treatment that happens every day. And typical patients goes between 15 to 30 days to the hospital every day treatment for about 10 to 20 minutes or something like that, maybe sometimes 3 minutes to 20 minutes. But you do it for close to 2 weeks to 4 weeks before the treatment is done. So it takes time, patience, and so on and so forth, and it's a very expensive process as well.
Thank you. Please tell us more about TibaRay's latest linear accelerator design, the Galactica. What key innovation that allow it to generate much greater beam power and deliver radiation dramatically faster while remaining compact, precise, and practical for clinical environment?
So my medical colleagues, when we started this process, asked me to make an accelerator that delivers about 2 orders of magnitude more radiation than the current accelerators can deliver. And the idea was, if you have that type of accelerator that delivers 2 orders of magnitude more radiation, maybe 400 times more than the current state-of-the-art can deliver, is that you can shrink the treatment that does in 3 minutes or 20 minutes, and over the course of many weeks after that, into 1 second. So very, very quickly do it. So what you want to do is to pinpoint where you want to shoot, and you do it almost instantaneously and get it over with. That fit the model that we were trying to develop for these particle smashers, because we were trying to make accelerators that are much, much more powerful so that we can shrink the size of these accelerators. That actually, the current state of the art of these accelerators, that the particle smashers that I was working on, was 3 kilometers long piece of equipment. And we realized for the future, if you want to do much more energy, much more dose, we have to make them 100-kilometer long. And that's prohibitive, budget-wise, size-wise, and with a lot of other logistics. So we made accelerators that are much, much more powerful for these particle smashers to do that. And how we managed to do that is by this decades of research, understanding the fundamental process on the surface when these surfaces are exposed to extremely high fields from the electromagnetic fields that we are putting inside them to really do this type of acceleration. And based on that, we sculptured the shapes of these cavities, that really, the bottles that confine the electromagnetic field to do the accelerations of the particles, into new shapes that was done with very artificial intelligence tools and with other optimization techniques to allow us to utilize what we understood about the physics into a practical manner, to allow most of the energy that we are using to go to the particles and nothing goes to the walls that really confine them. So this decades of research that allowed for these new designs of accelerators with new ideas and new innovation for how to shape it correctly is now being applied at TibaRay for this Galactica system to allow for 30 centimeter long accelerators to produce the same radiation that is possible with meters long accelerators with much high power sources and so on and so forth, but uses the conventional sources that we have now and concentrate it all to go to the particles rather than going to the walls of the accelerator itself. So it is the most efficient accelerator ever built in the world. This is Galactica system. And it delivers much, much higher dose rates than the current state of the art.
So when we say this technology can deliver radiation 100 times faster, what exactly that mean? And maybe can you tell more about flash therapy that everybody is talking about now?
So the dose rates is this accelerator is delivered is measured in units that we call grays, which is how much or grays per second. It's how much energy you deposit on the flesh per every gram of weight of that flesh that you are delivering this dose. So when I say it delivers 100 times, it means that the amount of radiation dose that you are delivering over the course of 20 minutes and many, many days, you can deliver it for probably less than a second or a second or so of time. It's instantaneous. You deliver everything you were delivering over the course of a very long time in a very, very short time. The original idea that we had was this when we started this collaboration is that to control the motion. So every part of the body is beating, the heart's beating 60 pulse per second. For athletic people, it beats at 40 pulse per second. For all people like me, it might beat at 80 pulse per second, and so on. But it is moving all the time. And I understood from my medical colleagues that your lung is moving, your stomach is growling, your every part of your body is still moving and moving, including, they told me something I didn't realize, that the brain in our skull is not fixed. It's moved by a few millimeters back and forth as we move. Everything is moving. So if we can deliver the dose that we want to deliver at the right time and so fast before anything moves in the body, it will appear as a fixed target. And that's much easier to shoot a fixed target than a moving target. And that's why we want the dose rates to be very, very fast. But during the course of our collaboration in the last few years, 5 or 6 years now, a breakthrough in biology came through. And it was due to our colleagues here at TibaRay and at Stanford Medical School and other places like people in Switzerland, Lausanne, and other places in France. They have discovered something wonderful. They discovered that the healthy cells, when you put a huge dose rate, you deliver dose very, very quickly, irrespective of the size of the dose. I mean, you deliver very large dose, but deliver it in a very short time. The healthy cells in the body recover very quickly from that and doesn't get much damage. And cancer cells, on the other hand, get the same damage whether you deliver this dose into very short time or you deliver this dose over the long time of the process of the treatment. This is a breakthrough because it meant that this dose rates that we are trying to generate in our new accelerators could be the holy grail for cancer treatment. This is called the flash effect. It means that you can deliver very high dose, enough to kill the cancer in a very short time, without or with a much, much reduced side effect from the damage that happened from this radiation to healthy cells, that tolerates much more this high dose rates if it delivered very, very quickly. And so this freezing of motion so that you can shoot exactly where you want to shoot, and this flash effect that allow the healthy cells to survive much better. Again, my information comes from my school, my biologist friends and colleagues at the medical school. A biologist can probably speak about this much, much more than I can do. But this flash effect allow you to spare the tissue, the healthy tissue at the same time, and make the cancer treatment much, much better. Biologists have something that they call therapeutic index, which is how much dose that they can deliver to the cancer against how much side effect that they have into the body. With this flash effect, this therapeutic index goes way to the roof. You can hardly produce any damage to the body, and at the same time, you have a very good kill rate for the cancer cells itself. So that's my understanding of the flash effect. But our accelerators, turns out, not only they can spare the cancer treatment tumor by freezing the motion, but they can also affect this biological effect that can make also another real treatment in the process. I want to mention something in this regard that is even beyond the question, that this high dose rates not only allow for the treatment to be much, much better, but if you can affect doing this treatment in a very quick way, the cost of cancer treatment also shrink dramatically because the amount of time that you use to do the patient due to these expensive machines that you are using to do this accelerators and deliver the radiation and so on and so forth, the number of patients can be treated by the same machine becomes very, very large. And it means that the cost of treatment per person becomes very, very low. Amazingly enough, the amount of people that have access to this technology around the world is very, very limited. In fact, it is a first world treatment. It doesn't exist in most second or third world countries. This will allow this to become much more ubiquitously available and reduce the cost of treatment, even in first world countries, to a level that allows this treatment to be available for more and more population. Thank you.
So where does Galactica stand today, and what's the need to happen before a physician can start using them to treat patients?
So the device that we are building, we are going to, hopefully in a short period of time, deliver this accelerator to be tested in a clinical setting at major institution in the US. And we are building the first version of these devices, the so-called Galactica device, so that it can be retrofit current machines immediately, so that it can have a big impact. But in the near future, we are going to make an array of these devices with our colleagues at Leo Cancer Care and other institutions and the companies to allow for an array of these linacs to go and simultaneously treat the patient in a very short amount of time. So the patient goes in, get aligned, in less than 1 second, you get the dose that goes for the whole treatment, and then the patient can leave the room and hopefully he, in a reasonable period of time, see the effect of that and how the cancer starts to diminish its viability inside their bodies. The development at the moment is to really make this available as soon as we can, and then this grandiose plan for making them a standalone machine that is completely do the full treatment by themselves in a flash effect and have everything that you can imagine in the machine will come right after that.
Can you comment on the linear accelerator that we have here at TibaRay? What are the commercial application we can use this for?
Oh, plenty. Since the time our research starts to show this type of accelerators in the academic sense, we got huge amount of interest from people from every walks of NNSA, for example, the National Nuclear Agencies, the security agencies, the border patrols, the biology people that are working on sterilization. So the idea is that these linacs that we're building is much more efficient and can be made much more smaller. So you can, for example, use them to do inspections in ports of entry around the country. There's huge machines in ports of entry to inspect trucks, for example. But our accelerators can do that much, much, much faster. So the trucks has to go through these machines at 1 mile an hour. And you can imagine hundreds and hundreds of trucks leave one single port every day. You cannot afford to inspect all of them. But with our machines, you can make the truck move about 30 miles an hour and do the inspection while the truck is moving. And that allow you to do much more inspection. So the people that are concerned with our borders and so on and so forth are very keen to see these machines really reach a practical limit so that they can use it for their inspection. Security agencies with different types of security agencies are interested in our accelerator because it can be portable. You can carry this accelerator by hand and move to some place. In the old times, if you have a suspicious object that you'd like to examine, you have to move that object to where the accelerator is so that you can really make X-rays that can penetrate deep inside that and get an image of what's inside. Now you can do that by taking the accelerator to the place that you want to examine the object. The people that are interested in sterilization of medical equipment, they do that with radiation materials, which is pose a huge security risk, very slow process, and so on and so forth. Our accelerators can deliver so much high dose that it can be used for sterilization of all medical equipments. Now all medical equipment gets sterilized with chemistry and with radiation. Every needle, every wipes, everything that's used in hospital gets sterilized but this will make the process much cheaper, much simpler, and much more ubiquitous than what it is currently is being used for. And the list goes on and on in that regard. People that working in turbine engines or aeroplane engines, they want to make sure that the blades are connected correctly, and the process that they are using to correct that blade to the core of the turbine engine is done right. And you have to have very energetic X-rays to really see the details of how the joints are made. And instead of getting a whole aeroplane engine all the way to a room where the accelerator could be, now you can bring that accelerator to where the manufacturing facility is and improve the quality control and so on and so forth. So all of these things are applications that are in the horizons for our accelerators. In fact, TibaRay has even very close relation to deliver accelerators fairly soon to national security agencies that are interested in these portable accelerators.
Mm. Yeah, I hope everyone enjoy a conversation with Sami today. But Sami, thank you for helping us understand how accelerated physics could make radiation delivery dramatically faster, and that speed could transform treatment precision, improve patient experience, and expand access to care. Your pioneer work is helping make FLASH therapy a reality, bringing us closer to curing cancer in the flesh. So instead of me asking more questions, I would like to take question now from the audience.
Thank you so much, Sami and Tan. It was truly compelling to hear just the behind the scenes at TibaRay. So thank you so much. So we'll jump in and we'll answer some questions here. Sami, what development over the next 5 to 10 years excites you the most?
Just seeing this type of accelerators being applied not only in the medical field but so many different fields that allow these accelerators to be used for practical things. As I said, I never thought that I will see these accelerators being used or my research being applied to things that can benefit people and society in a very short amount of time in my lifetime. The work that I was doing for high energy physics and so on and so forth, I always assumed that it is in the time of my grandchildren, if I ever had grandchildren and future generations, those are going to take the fruit of all of this. But seeing these things now coming into reality, affecting society very soon in terms of medical treatments or in all the other applications that will also have some serious impact on so many other fields is very, very exciting. And being able to be part of that and enjoy the fruits of this work is the most exciting part of my day.
Thank you. And we have another question. Can you tell me where the TibaRay is being used at Mayo Clinic, Rochester, Minnesota, Jacksonville, Florida, or Scottsdale, Arizona?
I would say that that's a question for 10, but my guess it's going to be in Florida.
Yeah, I think the first installation we have is with Leo Cancer into Mayo Hospital in Jackson, Florida. This is going to be installed later, hopefully later part of this year, and with real treatment to start in 2027.
Perfect, thank you. And a question for you, Sami. What do you enjoy most about being a part of TibaRay?
Oh, work at TibaRay is very, very busy and it is very, very energetic between talking to the engineers about their simulations or talking to the technicians about how they machined these parts and how they brazed this or did that, or talking to Tin about budgets and money and whether we have to spend money on this or do this and balancing the development with everything else. Oh God. Uh, it is very exciting to be there every day. And but most importantly, when after all these are said and done, and when you see finally this coming together and the vision that you had for many, many years is coming to reality, and you're going to hold in your hands this baby, which I call Galactic Accelerator, and test it and make sure that it's producing this, and you see it working in real. Oh God, that's a fury. It's you can never describe that feeling.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Next question we have. You did not mention the use of accelerators for upright radiotherapy. This seems to me to be likely a fantastic advance.
Oh, absolutely. The idea, of course, I did not describe the details of our vision for this, but our collaboration with Leo Cancer Care to make this treatment as an upright treatment where the patient is sitting down while the accelerators is pointing from all over different directions. This is our ultimate goal for the flash radiotherapy, and we are working diligently day in, day out in the designs of these future machines, not only on the immediate machines that we are going to install hopefully fairly soon in Mayo clinics and other places. But we're really our vision is to make this happen in a very short time scale for this type of treatment. The idea of doing this in an upright position and having the accelerators all around the patient is one of the most important ideas that will make this uh, new type of accelerators very effective in delivering the dose in a very short amount of time with minimal amount of motions of the patient, and hence no more movements of organs inside the body to be able to concentrate the radiation where we want it to be.
Thank you. And another question for Sami. What types of cancer are most likely to benefit first? And are there any types of cancers that cannot be treated with FLASH?
Oh, that's not a real question for me because I'm not the medical school people. But I have to tell you, I had this discussion with my medical school colleagues so many times. So I'll tell you some part of this discussion, although I am not answering correctly the question. But Professor and Dr. Billy Liu, who was really initiated this work with me, always insisted because I always suggested that we can make to get very quickly to a clinical trial and something like that, something like an accelerator that can treat a specific type of cancer very quickly, like breast cancer, for example, or perhaps do something specifically for prostate. And he adamantly told me, no, if we are going to go through all the way to this, the device that we built has to be a generic device that can treat all sorts of cancers. And we have to make it in such a generality and make it so flexible to deliver the dose in every direction possible, in every configuration possible, so that we do not limit the application of our machines to a specific type of cancer, but we can tailor it on the spot to every possible type of cancer. Which cancer is suitable for our first initial machines and trials? I cannot speak in authority to that, and perhaps Tin can forward that question to Billu and get back to get a more precise answer for this.
Thank you. Another question. Does treatment in a fraction of a second refer to one radiation session, or could it eventually reduce an entire multi-week treatment course?
My understanding from our medical school that it can reduce the multi-week course, but how much it can reduce it? You can come for 3 days instead of weeks, or only one session, and that's the end of it. I suspect that that very much depends on the type of cancer and the volume that people are trying to treat. And again, I'm not but I'm giving you the answer based on my conversation with my medical school colleagues, people that tell me, oh, this type of cancer, if we can just give it one single dose, we're going to be done. And some other times they say, well, we have to do this in fractions. And actually, the biology studies that are happening right now with our biologist colleagues, not only the medical people, trying to understand the effect of the flash effect with fractionation. Fractionation is the term that they use for making several treatment over a course of time or a course of days or a course of hours and so on and so forth. And dividing the treatment into several fractions or several parts and how that affect the flash and how much you can compact it and is an ongoing, very active research in biology. It's actually one of those things that are now biologists are putting their huge amount of effort and all over the world. It's the subject to study. So I cannot give you a definite answer. And again, our biologist colleagues and medical school colleagues can give a better answer. But the short answer, it will reduce the amount of treatment over the course of weeks to a much smaller number. How much? I'm not going to be sure about that.
Yeah. Sami, another question. You mentioned applications in many markets: cancer treatment, material diagnostics, turbine blades, inspections, border patrol. Which of these markets is the primary focus, and are you actively looking at these other markets in parallel or in a more serial way?
So the most active one of them is the security applications. The several government agencies are working closely with us now to develop a portable accelerator that you can carry anywhere so that you can, and it's actually amazingly enough because our accelerator is so efficient, we can make this extremely powerful X-ray sources through these accelerators battery powered. So you can carry this whole thing anywhere around the world and inspect something that you suspect about it. So this is the first product that TibaRay will develop in that field. It will get followed by the border patrol applications that we are now in active communications with many agencies to see how we can make that happen over the course of next few years.
Yeah. Based on TibaRay's technology and all the various verticals TibaRay can serve, what is the opportunity for TibaRay's market cap and long-term exit strategy in terms of what that means for our investment today, from 60 million valuation to what? Ken, you
I
want
will leave that for 10.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, our focus now is to get our product commercially available, our LINAC to be able to deploy in volume. And our focus is also to make sure our company is profitable. I think once it's profitable, there are many avenues that open to us. One of my last dream is to be able to take TibaRay public in maybe 2-3 years from now. But if we can run a profitable company, I think we have many options. Things that I think TibaRay will be a very, very attractive acquisition target for a lot of these large medical affiliated company. But anyway, we plan to. Our main thing is to make sure TibaRay technology is available to the market, and our mission and things for all the founders TibaRay is that we're able to have technology that help us curing cancer in the flash, and that's the tech line we're doing, and that's the dream of everybody here at TibaRay to make that happen. And I think hopefully with that and running a profitable company, it will also allow investors to make a nice return on their investment, whether it's an IPO or acquisition route.
Thank you. And on that answer, I have another question. Is TibaRay currently a private IPO?
A private IPO. I'm not sure what you mean by that. We are doing a crowdfunding raise right now, and you can look at that as a private public market that we try. I mean, mini IPO, I would say. But that's what we're doing right now.
Perfect. Thank you. And Sami, a question for you. Are there any short or long-term side effects?
Uh, I believe that the whole effort of doing this, again, I'm not the medical doctor, but at least the whole point of doing all of this is to reduce the long and short-term side effects of this treatment by only delivering the radiation where it belongs and eliminating all the damage that happened to the healthy tissue. So, in principle, we should be able to reduce dramatically the short and long-term side effects.
I'm also interested in the regulatory approval pathway in the US and perhaps the rest of the world. In the US, is this a 510K? I think it's referred to as similar type device or similar like that pathway or other. And are you looking for approvals in Europe?
Yeah. So the first deployment of TibaRay technology is we partner with Leo Cancer, and we provide the linear accelerator that will be integrated into their GRACE system. And Leo Cancer now is in the process of getting 510K approval for the entire system. And they also, in parallel, for Europe, you need the CE mark, which is they're also doing in parallel. So that's what's happening right now, FDA and then CE for Europe. For TibaRay ourselves, we would go through that similar pathway later when we will develop our own FLASH system later, the phaser as we call it, and we will get our own 510K and our own CE mark to deploy that on our name. Yeah.
And what is the success rate of killing cancer on the first treatment?
So, again, from my information from the animal models that my colleagues have done at Stanford and other places, they got great success in some animal models for that. But on humans and other things, again, that's a question that has to be addressed by medical school colleagues.
Thank you. And Sami, I have a fun question for you. Anton, can you describe a day in the life at TibaRay? Maybe I can get both of you guys to answer that.
I just described my day in life at TibaRay as being, oh God, crazy, doing everything you can do from looking at simulations and looking at machining, looking at engineering work, looking at spreadsheets for budgets, looking at expenses, looking at things that went perfectly right, things that did not go all the way correctly, and I have to redo it, and everything in between. So it's very, very exciting. And uh, every now and then, when we really see something that we designed, built, tested it, and it works exactly as you do, you get a fantastic day out of that. That's from my point of view. I'll leave it at 10.
For me, it's very interesting. I mean, I come here, company is more in R&D, research company, and my goal is to take this company and make it into a real company ready for commercial and ship product on the commercial basis. Well, in the past, we've done a lot of research and we do prototype and things like that. But this year is the first time TibaRay will be ready to ship product on a commercial basis. My day is everything, running engineering, spend a lot of time raising money for TibaRay, do everything I can. And it's never been so busy in my career. This is probably one of the most busy time for me at this time. We do everything here at TibaRay to make sure that we achieve our goals. So very challenging, and I'm very, very excited to be part of the team.
Thank you. And I think we have time for one more question. How much money is coming in the form of grants in the near future?
So
We working a couple of small grant for our portable battery backup device, Sami mentioned. Those probably in the maybe 3 million range. We're also working on a couple of larger grant with upper age that could bring in much more significant. But since we haven't got thing finalized yet, I cannot answer the amount right now. But up to now, the company has got about 13 million or so of non-dilutive grant that we company got from beginning to now, and we hope to get more of similar grant going forward. Yeah.
Thank you. And Thinh and Sami, do you have any final words for our audience today?
I think I spoke enough for one day. So thank you for being here. Thank you very much.
Well, we know the technology here is very much de-risked, so there's no really technology risk. It's almost just a matter of execution. But to be able to deploy in volume, the company will need a lot of infusion of capital. If you know investor out there that are interested, please make sure to mention about TibaRay. And we'd like to raise about 10 million in this round, both through Series A and also through crowdfunding. So please, I mean, if you like the story, we like you to be part of the TibaRay community and help us, give us enough, financing to make sure we can deliver our goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Thinh. Thank you, Sami. And thank you to everyone who has joined. On your screen, you will see a QR code, and that will take you directly to our WeFunder site where you can learn more about our investment opportunity. And you can also type in wefunder.com/TibaRay, and that will take you directly to the site as well.